businesses and 5,000 houses have been destroyed. More than 100 people are dead. 3 days after the initial explosion, the city still smoulders. For now, Addis Ababa is quiet, but residents have to wonder how long it'll be before they're under attack again.
Despite the relative calm of the past few days, the situation here is still very volatile.
Here comes your leader out of turn 4.
At a racetrack in Maryland, an event is underway. Drivers have a motto: rubbing is racing. A bump, nudge, or push are all part of the risks that can keep a driver from taking the checkered flag.
Now we got a car crashing on the backstretch.
But no one ever thinks that a little shove on the track could turn a car into a wreck like this. The race gets underway. 11 drivers are competing on the 800-meter track in a 30-lap race. Drivers are neck and neck for the top 3 spots. Car 19 gets a lucky break and passes number 41, knocking him into 4th place.
Hazel out front. Car number 19, Gary Stewart, room to the outside into 2nd place.
In a desperate move, car 41 takes the turn tightly and steals 3rd place from number 5. But 81 is closing fast. The driver of number 41 tries to keep him from taking his position. Number 81 moves towards the outside. The number 1 car clips his rear right wing, sending him into the guardrail. What's left of the car flips back onto the track, only to be slammed into by an oncoming car. Emergency crews are quickly on the scene. The vehicle is completely destroyed, and the driver is trapped in the mangled metal. Rescuers work feverishly, tearing away at the vehicle to gain access. After a delicate rescue operation, the driver is pulled out and taken to hospital.
Car 41, Jack Blaine, smashed into that retaining wall in the back straightaway.
Despite the severe impact of the high-speed crash, the driver only suffered a broken leg. Since the accident, the entryway into the track has been closed off, preventing an accident like this from happening again. June the 9th, 1989, was the first day of the Paris Airshow. Countries from all over the world show off their state-of-the-art aircraft. The Soviet Union has brought in their latest jet fighter, the MiG-29. They're extremely proud of their technological advances and are ready to show off its high-tech performance. The jet tears down the runway at 265 kilometers an hour. Within seconds, the MiG enters a vertical climb and the pilot executes an aerobatic loop. Just as the pilot is about to perform his next maneuver, the jet suddenly veers off course. 150 meters above the ground, an explosion erupts in one engine. The pilot desperately tries to maintain control, but the plane has lost power and slips into a nosedive. 2 seconds before impact, the pilot ejects with the force of 20 Gs. Emergency crews are scrambled and immediately attend to the pilot. Despite being shot out horizontally and hitting the ground before his parachute could deploy completely, he's alive and taken to hospital. The likely cause of the accident was a bird sucked into the engine. The pilot only suffered a bruised stomach and a black eye when he bailed out of this doomed $15 million jet fighter. In San Francisco, 7 centimeters of rain have fallen within 24 hours. The water pressure is too much for the sewer system to handle, and it gives way. Sewer water saturates the sandy ground, creating a 750 square meter hole next to these multi-million-dollar mansions. Residents grab what they can carry and flee. Just after sunrise, an 80-year-old mansion gives in to the forces of nature. Just seconds before the giant hole claims the house, the floor falls away, dumping everything inside into the water-filled pit. Luckily, the occupants had already evacuated. Then the hole sucks away a wall from a neighbouring home. Investigators found that a partially lowered gate at the end of the underground sewer system caused the water pressure to build up. That caused an explosion of water, which created the giant hole. More than a dozen years later, the hole is gone, and all that remains is its vacant lot. There are still no plans to rebuild on the site. 6 surveillance cameras watch over a restaurant on an average day in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. 2 women chat in the car park, while in the background, a 4x4 makes its way back to the main road. Inside the diner, customers enjoy a break. It's business as usual. Different cameras show patrons eating their food and busy employees working on the next order. And while the man in this booth reads his newspaper, something grabs his attention. Outside, this 4x4 is about to turn left onto the main road when an oncoming driver blacks out at the wheel. Still unconscious but with a foot on the accelerator, the driver veers straight for the diner. As the minivan bursts through the wall, the impact shoves the booth and the man into the counter. Despite the severity of the impact, the man is shaken, but not enough to forget his cap. The man in the booth received only minor cuts and bruises. And the driver of the minivan escaped injury because he was limp and unconscious as the booth was destroyed in seconds.
You're watching Survival Month on Discovery.